Welcome to the Photos of the Past channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. This photograph shows Horatio Gordon Robley's collection of tattooed Maori heads from the 19th century. Robley was known for his fascination with Maori culture, and these tattooed heads were traditionally created by Maori warriors as a way to intimidate enemies. However, this collection became controversial in Europe. This photo, taken in the early 20th century, shows a missionary school in Africa where local African children stand with European nuns. During that era, missionaries established many schools aimed at providing education and religious teachings. However, these institutions often sought to impose European culture and alter local traditions. This unusual photograph shows a black cat audition in 1961 for a Hollywood production. The production team needed a black cat, symbolizing misfortune, so hundreds of cats were brought in. Owners lined up their pets for the selection process. This photo highlights the quirky aspects of the film industry at that time. In 1954, Anne Hodges made history as the only known person to be struck by a meteor. While she was sleeping, a meteor crashed through her house and hit her on the hip, leaving a large bruise. This incident became a rare case of interest in both astronomy and human history. This photo reveals the horrific effects of the Madras famine in India during 1876-78. This disaster, which claimed millions of lives, symbolizes the tragic consequences of neglect and inadequate governance during the colonial era. This 1946 photograph captures a moment at Rockaway Beach where a woman is being cautioned by a police officer for improper attire. Conservative dress codes of that time were strictly enforced, even at the beach. This historic map, created by cartographer Martin Waldseemüller in 1507, is one of the earliest maps to use the name America to refer to the New World. Comprising 12 woodcut panels, it provides a detailed view of the known world at the time, including Europe, Asia, Africa, and parts of the Americas. The map symbolizes a revolutionary shift in geographical knowledge, acknowledging the newly discovered continent as a separate landmass. It remains a significant artifact, showing the early European understanding of global geography and the spirit of exploration during the Age of Discovery. This photo, taken in 1948, shows the examination of human skulls for a museum or academic institution. At that time, skulls from various regions were collected and studied to further research in anthropology and craniology. While intended to understand human diversity, this practice is now considered ethically controversial. This photograph was taken after the tragic death of Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov. During the Soyuz 1 mission in 1967, a malfunction occurred in his capsule, leading to his catastrophic death upon re-entry. Komarov became the first human to die during a space mission. This vintage advertisement promotes Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup, used in the 19th century to calm teething babies. Marketed as a mother's friend, the syrup contained morphine and alcohol, ingredients now known to be harmful. At the time, however, these components were commonly used. The product was eventually banned after it caused health issues in many children. In this photo, a printing worker arranges the layout of the New York Times newspaper before it goes to print. Before digital printing technology, each page of the newspaper was manually prepared, with letters and images carefully placed. This meticulous work reflects the fine details of the art of printing. This intriguing photo shows a well-dressed man riding a zebra alongside a black car. Although zebras are naturally difficult to domesticate, they were occasionally used for exotic and unusual events during this period. The image captures a rare moment from the early 20th century, documenting unique modes of transportation and unconventional lifestyles. This photo captures a traveling show where a dead whale was exhibited. In the mid-20th century, dead whales became a public attraction in many cities. People would line up to witness these massive sea creatures up close, making it a rare and unusual form of entertainment for that era. This photo captures a moment where the famous inventor, Alexander Graham Bell, explores tetrahedral kites. Bell was investigating the potential of complex geometric structures to advance the science of flight. His work provided inspiration for future aeronautical research. This striking photograph reveals how far the beauty industry was willing to go in the 1930s. The metallic devices applied to a woman's face were used to analyze facial symmetry and meet beauty standards. Such innovative yet uncomfortable beauty practices were quite popular at the time. This photo shows a scene where women inmates are receiving shooting training in prison. In the 1930s, some prisons offered self-defense and shooting skills training for female inmates. This was done to instill discipline and build their confidence. Given the social structure of the time, equipping female prisoners with such skills was a remarkable approach. This photograph from the early 1900s captures a baby posing with two large trophies. Back then, some parents entered their children into competitions celebrating robustness and beauty, earning awards like these. This adorable scene highlights how achievements were celebrated even at such a young age in those times.